And welcome, guys, to another episode of MacYak, number 46.
Hello.
This will be the last group one we have for a little while, guys. So, because I am actually moving to Virginia, where I will have actually better internet than I have here.
Ooh,
Yes.
nice.
Way to rub it in.
That is possible. Thank you, Verizon.
That's exactly who I'm going with, Verizon Fios. I'm going to have, I think they said it's 900 up and 900 down, so I'll have plenty of upload bandwidth.
Guess who's going to be hosting live?
I'm going to be doing 4K live videos. What are you talking about?
Oh, okay.
Can you buy me a 4K camera? Just throwing money out of there?
Well, you know, it's going to be even better when if I do 4K videos on YouTube, because they'll upload a lot quicker.
Oh, don't worry. YouTube will just compress the crap out of it anyway.
That's true.
Which is good, because I don't really want to see you guys in high definition anyway. It's all right.
Well, 1080p is good enough for most of the videos that I do anyway, so
Yeah.
I don't think any of us, except for Grudy, wants to do 4K, you know.
I'm only doing 4K because I literally can now.
But you still don't have the internet to put it on.
And it's true. But believe it or not, I'm on Wi-Fi right now on my Mac Pro. And it's working
Here we
fine.
go, Wi-Fi again.
Hey, it's working.
There's the thing. There's this old thing called Ethernet. Have you heard of it?
Yeah, but I can't run an Ethernet cable down to my basement without the dogs tripping over it or yanking it out the
Oh,
wall.
just put it through the
It's called
ceiling.
a drill.
And walls.
Yeah.
And walls. Yeah.
Don't make me send you some local talk connectors and get you wired up that way, because I will.
Honestly, it would be about as reliable as my Wi-Fi.
He's actually not he's
there
actually
you
not freezing on us tonight. So he's been on for about 30 minutes now, and he has not froze.
You're gonna jinx it.
I think my Mac Pro has a better Wi-Fi than most of the things I have, apparently. Go figure.
You would think that would have the worst Wi-Fi, but yeah.
Well, it's got one of those, what is it, Mac,
He's got one of those fancy
OSXWiFi.com
cards in it.
cards in it.
Okay, I guess we gotta.
Oh, so that's where the $200.
I guess we gotta say Wi-Fi a lot tonight because they're drinking shots, so we gotta get our audience drunk tonight.
Well, if you connect the Wi-Fi with a third-party Wi-Fi router, and then you connect that Wi-Fi through your other Wi-Fi, your Wi-Fi should be okay as long as you don't Wi-Fi your Wi-Fi.
Oh, no, he just...
Yeah, you just killed somebody. They had to drink a whole.
Okay. We just lost half the audience on that one.
Oh, what little audience we have right now. So, anyways, guys,
Yeah.
so how you guys been doing this week? I know I just got back from a trip to New Mexico. That's the reason why I was not on Thursday night. And why Greg did his Q&A last Thursday. So, how you guys been doing?
Which I need to rename, apparently.
Yes.
Thanks, Jay.
Go watch it and you'll find out why.
What does that have to do with me?
You said not to number it.
What?
No, I don't think anybody told him that. I think he's thinking,
What are you
yeah.
You did. I can go back in the history of the 5,000 messages ago and show you did.
All right, do that.
See what we deal with on a daily basis, guys. Well, we won't have Rocky tonight. He's got a daughter thing tonight, event. So I guess it's a school event or something like that. So he's not going to be here with us tonight.
Yep.
His kids are more important than us. Damn it.
Yeah, his priorities.
It's not like we've had this stuff we've been doing this, almost a year now. So, guys, look forward to a pretty good show when I actually pick it back up in Virginia, because that will be our anniversary show.
Woo!
Gonna be nice.
We're all just gonna be banging on your door to let
Yeah.
us in. Destroy your new place.
It's showtime, Greg.
I want your internet!
What does this wire do, Ram?
Oh, guess what? You ain't got internet no more. So guess what then? Jay gets to host.
Yeah.
And MacYak is going to be on Sundays. That's the
Oh,
only day.
there's a good one. Matthew just said, Greg, redact it, Rutke.
Redacted.
I still say you should have said his name.
I'm not going to say his name.
Yeah.
He is a friend.
So?
He's
You're
all
a friend of ours, and we give you bloody hell on here.
If you ship me something, and
Yeah,
it
but I
comes in
also
pieces,
pack things properly.
I will smear you all over the internet. I don't care. And if you do it 5 more times after that, I'll set up a web page.
In fact, right here in this box, I've got the world's fastest Mac Mini. That still needs a little more padding, but that's going off to Ken tomorrow morning.
How do you know it's the world's fastest?
Well, it's the world's fastest 2000.
How do you know?
According to them.
According to Colin and I, it is.
You don't know that, though.
Well, I got the fastest iMac here because I rubbed turtle.
Ah.
So it's the fastest.
It helps. It
There you
helps.
go.
It makes it more shiny and more slippery.
Yes.
When is that video going to be done?
Yeah, that's a good question. Anyway,
We're still waiting on it there, Steve.
it's going. Back off.
Hey,
We're answering
Steve?
this question on how we're doing.
Yeah, well, that's what we're doing. We're actually talking about that. But Steve at least has had a few videos versus your one. Steve,
Who?
you!
I released 2 in the last week.
Where's the second
Well, I
one?
couldn't hear anything you said. All I heard was squeak.
Yeah. All right, who else in the chat has seen Greg's newest video and all you hear is
Yeah, and
It's
that's
not a
where
porn.
I've got to fix that table.
Did you?
It's a good
Did
table,
you?
though. It's
Did
really
you?
sturdy. I
Okay,
can stand
so
on
that means
Oh, yeah.
that means Jay that he did not fix it for his newest video that he's editing now. And we told him that this morning.
Look at the smile on his face.
And didn't we?
it. But hey, I'm working on my 3rd video right now. I finished filming it today. I'm editing it.
That
right
means
now.
we're gonna hear.
That's the 3rd video.
That means we're gonna hear.
I wish I had that much time.
More squeaks coming. Great.
Oh man. So how about you, Jay?
Yeah,
I've just been working. Working, getting the house and the car ready for the winter, and that's it. I actually ordered a few goodies that will or should allow me to make some more interesting videos for my channel soon. So, no spoilers. Look forward to that.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping to see why you have those targets up there on your posters and get those in use soon.
Yeah, that's been there what now?
4
4
months, yeah.
Yeah, it has a purpose, and actually, I'll tell people what it is. When I'm recording a video, my first video was going to be about the Xer G4. Got them all set up, all laid out, and I had some really cool digital posters for those frames. So in Final Cut Pro, you can render those in, but they need anchor points. That's why all those targets are on there. So that when I move the camera, the picture stays in the frame, and it looks pretty real. That was 4 months ago, and I was forced to put the Xers back in the basement last week. It'll happen. It's going to be winter. It's going to be miserable outside, so it'll happen soon.
That'll be
Yeah,
nice.
'cause they'll warm you up.
Well, according to Wendy, it's warmer in his office than hers. So
Yep. I told her we can sell your iMac and get you a Mac Pro. You'll be nice and toasty too. She
Oh,
said
yeah.
no.
You should.
just put a G5 in there. Just leave it on as a file.
I told Jay that. I told Jay, said put a G5 in there.
That'd work.
So-
Dana keeps complaining about someone's fan. I don't hear anything. but,
It's
I don't hear
probably
anything.
mine.
I don't hear anything
here's
from you
it
though.
too.
Yeah, there we go. I turned it down. It's hot as balls in here, so.
Greg Squeaky Vids Drutke. I like that.
Oh, this is gonna be a good one.
So, how about you, Mike? What you been up to? I haven't talked to you in a long time, so what you been up to?
Work, sleep, work, sleep.
Little bit of eating.
This weekend I've got the kids, which is going to really screw my plans up. Thanks to my wife. About it.
Oh,
That'll
I
work.
was sleeping before I got on here.
How about you, Steve? Last
I'm
one.
I'm was trying to finish this iMac video, and because of this stupid super disc, derailed my
He's
whole
been trying to
plan.
finish the iMac video as long as I've been trying to finish my PowerBook G4 video.
So
Hey, at least he's got stickers done.
I took this brand new disc out of the box, brand new. It's FAT16 formatted for Windows. I'm like, you know what? Let me just format it for OS 10. Just for Mac OS rather. So I put the super disc in the iMac, click on format. I'm like, all right, it's going to take a little bit. Go upstairs, forget about it, come back, it's still whirling. I'm like, all right, this is weird. Try like 3 different machines, 3 different drives, and 3 different disks, and none of them will format at all. So I'm just going to show a picture of it, and I'm not going to do any speed tests or anything like I originally wanted to do because I wanted to show the zip drive and that because they were time. And you want to go on eBay and buy me that the stupid super disk drive that's sealed in the box that'll probably have the exact same problem? You're welcome to do so.
You don't know that. It might be your discs.
They're brand new.
Well, okay.
Brand new 50 years.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
But also-
Exactly.
Also, those discs work in the cameras. So the disc worked before when I took photos on this camera, which takes super discs.
All right, we're starting to break up a little bit there, Steve.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine now.
Yeah.
I've never seen a camera that took super disc. The only ones I've seen were the Mavicos that take floppies.
These are Panasonics. They take super discs, and they work. I just have to find the battery because last resort I was going to try and format the disc in here. But anyway, what happens in my videos if you haven't noticed, I get super focused on one aspect of it, spend 99% of the time trying to get that to work, and then either it does or it doesn't, and that's like a 2-second segment in my video. So if Greg's nodding his head, that's exactly how that is. So yeah, that's what's going on. Hopefully soon. I'm not even saying dates anymore because I'm just gonna prove myself wrong.
So, anything else?
Steve, did you order anything interesting in the last 24 hours?
Yes, I did. I ordered some buttons, and I will share a photo once they're arrived. They should arrive sometime next week. I don't want to spoil what they are. Well, one of them is my logo, but the other ones will be the other one will be a little bit of a surprise. That's a fun one. So
Cool. I need to go back on there and
You
get
said
some
that
more stickers.
pre-orders are starting at $55, right?
yeah, and I'll sign each one of them for a mere $20 more.
Oh, not bad.
Okay, I'm gonna have to pass on that then. So.
It's one of those things that's very dangerous, as Jay knows. We were just like looking at the site, just getting quotes of, how many can I get for this much, or there's a promo code, and like $50 later, it's like, wait, what did I do?
Yeah, that's how it
I was
goes.
smart. I walked away just in time.
Smart man.
All right, guys. So I think we've been gabbing a little bit long here. So let's go ahead and jump into our first topic tonight.
Well,
I already pushed the button. Damn it.
before we do, well,
Go
Steve's
ahead.
Panama. Uh-oh, my stream is buffering. Why is that?
I'm buffering too. Why is
It's
that?
working fine over here. Oh, there it went.
Everything's.
Well, we can hear each other. I think it's YouTube then.
I think it's
Yeah,
YouTube.
it must be YouTube.
I refreshed it. It's fine.
Yeah, we're back,
Yeah, it looks fine now.
and it's buffering again,
Uh-oh.
and it's back. Okay, we're good.
Welcome to.
It's actually, believe it or not, this is actually YouTube because I have 0 drop
Oh,
frames.
Yeah, of course.
I-
Here we go again.
I'll pull up a screenshot
shot.
here. No, it's not Wi-Fi.
Oh, there you go.
Well, while it's still working, I want to know how many people still use zip drives, internal or external?
I guess I don't. Neither does Mike. It looks
I
like,
used-
or his mic froze.
All my compact Macs didn't have hard drives when I bought them, so they were just used. I just used zip drives as their hard drive.
I even have a
So bad.
Wall Street zip drive bay now.
I do as well.
Let's see
I
if there's anyone in the audience still using zip drives. I got an external on my Mac Pro, and I use it to file exchange with pretty much every other Mac I got. PowerPC.
I got a beautiful one right here.
Yeah, I got the same one. USB or SCSI?
This is a USB one.
Oh, nice.
SCSI one looks identical, except it's a darker blue.
So why would you
Yeah,
use?
mine's a Zip 250.
Here's my question, Jay. If it's a USB zip drive, why aren't you using just a USB thumb drive instead?
Well, the USB zip drive is on my Mac Pro. My G4 and G3 and all that stuff have a built-in zip drive.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Yeah,
do they have
Why be
USB
trying
ports?
to plug in something to USB when you can just
Oh,
put
because the flash drive doesn't make the cool sounds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and because the legacy OS
Yeah, the
support
sound
that
of a
doesn't
zip
support
drive is half the
USB.
fun.
Yeah, that's
See,
fine.
we got Dana, Nick, Matt, Trina. Well, kinda a friend of Trina.
Use a zip
There's
drive.
still a fair amount of people in here.
Yeah.
I remember my father's zip drive at his office. Something was wonky with the eject mechanism. You put the disc in, you press eject, that thing would come flying across the desk.
I've seen those before where they have it's like a catapult, you know.
Yeah,
you could have
little
a
spring load.
you could have a disc war with them.
Yeah, wasn't too calibrated, I don't think.
All right, I just wanted to ask that before we really got started.
All right.
Oh, that's a good question.
So,
Take the temperature of the room.
first topic tonight is insurance. Do you insure your Apple gear? To be honest with you, I have homeowners insurance or renters insurance, whatever. If it depends on if you're renting or a homeowner, but it covers all of my computers and stuff like that. So, yes, I do have insurance, but I don't have specific Apple insurance.
Same here, and I should though.
Yeah, I have the same thing through homeowners, and we had work done on our bathroom, and which is next to the upstairs, and of course all the computers are downstairs. And long story short, they cut a pipe, water flowed down to the basement because gravity does that to water when it's upstairs, and splashed on my Apple III, which thankfully I covered it. I covered it with plastic, but the water was sitting on there, and some of it got on top of it under there, but it was fine. I cleaned it up and everything, and the thing still works beautifully. No, not you wouldn't even notice anything was on it. But I called up the insurance company, just curious, like, well, technically that would have been considered like an antique, and you would have had to have like some proof that you got it appraised or whatever before the damage happened or some. They like walked me through this whole thing. I'm like, I'm glad this is just a hypothetical and the thing still works, because God forbid I had to go through something.
Yeah, getting it
would've,
appraised would have been hell.
I was going to
Yeah,
say, appraising all your collection, Steve, would be a nightmare.
Yes, it
And
would.
I'm basically on the same boat.
Not as bad as Steve, though.
Plus, half of my stuff's broken, so I'll
Exactly.
praise that.
We're
But
in the
still.
same boat in that regard. Damn super disc.
I got the same thing. I got the homeowner's insurance, and it probably covers half of my equipment, like the modern equipment.
Mm-hmm.
With everything I would get back, I would probably be able to replace my Mac Pro, not the entire collection.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that, I just buy like the Apple Care for the phone, and I haven't bought a new machine since 2011. So
I don't
when
even
I
get
get
the
that-
Apple Care, to be honest with you, because it's...
you know why I do though? Because of all these stupid recalls and everything, that saved my butt when my IMAX graphics card died. And if I didn't have that extended warranty, guy was just going to be like,
But if they come out with a recall, because I've seen them do that, come out with recalls past the 1-year warranty.
that was a problem though.
You want to mute your mic there, Greg?
That giant dog needs to go to the other room.
Okay, we're going to have to put redacted over his lips there.
It was fairly clear what he said.
But what I was saying, because I had Apple Care and because the serial number didn't match, and I've told the story before, they took sympathy on me, I think, because I had the Apple Care and I never really had anything go wrong with the machine. And so I considering you're spending how many hundreds or thousands of dollars on a desktop or a laptop,
Hundreds. What are you buying for $100,000?
I'm saying hundreds
just kidding.
or up to over 1,000 or whatever. Spend what, $1,500 on a machine for an extra what, $120 it is, or $70, whatever it is these days. Especially because Apple is so annoying about you opening up their machines. It's it's just to err on the side of caution.
Well, I understand that, but for myself personally, I don't particularly like Apple Care because, for one, I've never really had to use it. I mean, every computer I've had has worked fine, way past its the warranty time, and so to be honest with you, to me it was just a waste of money. I could use that $300 something, whatever it is, for like an iMac, what they charge you, for something else, So to me, it was just a waste of money.
Yeah, I mean, I've had the iMac replaced with it. I've had MacBook replaced with it, the MacBook Pro replaced with it, and an iBook with the video card issue.
God, you just had some bad luck, huh?
And that's why I got the stupid warranty.
I guess
the only thing I ever replaced under warranty was an iPod, 2 iPods, but that was under the 1-year warranty.
Yeah.
So
well, I've done the same thing with an iPhone. I had a camera go bad on my iPhone 8. It was still under the 1-year warranty, and they replaced it. Well, they fixed it. Then it still was bad. Then they finally replaced the whole phone. So, but anyways, that happened under the 1 year. I mean, it was like I only had the phone for like a month and a half. So after that, it worked fine. I never had a problem with it after they replaced it, and I had it for 2 years.
I got this replaced the last day of the extended warranty, and so it helped me in that regard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, I mean, to each their own.
Oh yeah, I to be honest with you, I don't care if somebody does get the Apple Care or anything like that, but just not for me. I'm not going to waste my money on it. In fact, when you go buy something at Best Buy, they offer you their protection plan or whatever, and I go, nope, because what's their protection plan? Oh, Geek Squad. Yeah, we all know about that.
That's a good way. That's a really good waste of money right there.
Yeah.
Apple, at least you get the illusion that they might help you out. Best Buy, a whole other ballgame.
Well, Jay, tell us your experience since you actually did work as an Apple genius doing that stuff.
What?
As far as
Mike just distracted me with extra.
as far as Apple Care insurance replacements, how did that work with being a Apple genius? I'll put that in quotes.
Well, if you got a phone, we typically just try to replace the part, new camera, new battery, whatever. If that didn't work, we just grab a refurb out of a drawer and give you that. For computers, you get more, more repairs. But after a certain amount of repairs fail, you just get a brand new computer. So that happens in warranty or within Apple Care. So for that, especially with the amount of garbage Apple currently produces, Apple Care might be worth it for a computer. For a phone, I don't know. I wouldn't. I don't.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, because even if let's say you drop your phone and break the screen, you still got to pay a certain amount out of pocket to have that screen replaced. I forget what it is. It's a lot less than what it costs if you didn't
like
have
$70 or something.
Yeah. But it's like...
It used to be $29.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's the reason why I got Apple Care for the iPhone 8 is because of the glass back on the damn thing because of the wireless charging. So my fear was, I'm always very careful with my phone. I've never cracked a screen or anything. But if this were to drop and that back glass cracked, that's easily going to set you back probably half the cost of the stupid phone, knowing how Apple charges their things. And phones aren't as cheap as they used to be. The original iPhone was $500. These are this is like $1,000. The new ones are like $1,500. So if I were to shell out, and I'm not going to, but if I were to shell out that much for a phone, since it's approaching like computer pricing at this point, I'd feel a little better getting some sort of extended warranty but that's just me, and I know I have bad luck with these.
Do you think Apple designs their products and have the current reputation as stuff not being that great of quality to push AppleCare?
I've actually
Well, here's the
who was
thing.
who was selling a product say, oh, well, things happen and they don't make things as good as they used to anymore, just like a general blanket statement. And I was just like, okay, yeah, that's
Well,
pretty
but
bad.
here's the thing, though. Is when Apple comes out with these recall policies, they usually put them out, and you don't need AppleCare to get it fixed under that. For
Yeah,
instance,
but that's typically a few years after it happens.
Exactly.
yeah,
After you've paid for the repair.
yeah, but what I'm saying though is that at least they fess up and say, hey, we screwed up sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes they'll confess up. Like for instance, the butterfly keyboards, they already put out the 2019 one on the list before the MacBook Pro came out. So I mean,
Well, it's a big risk to take, because if you buy a MacBook Pro, or let's say you buy the new Mac Pro, right?
Mhm.
You spend what, $40,000 on a decked out Mac Pro. One of those guys says, "Do you want AppleCare?" Which would probably be another $2,000. Who knows? And you say, "Nah," because you're thinking to yourself, whatever's going to happen in the future, it might get covered under an extended repair program or some kind of lawsuit or whatever. That's a big risk. At the time it's happening, you don't know it's happening on such a large scale that we know a few years later.
well, if you're like us and you're in the know all the time, then we're going to know that stuff is probably going to happen. Whereas,
You would hope. You would
And you
hope.
have to have the money. Like, okay, the logic board on your new Mac Pro died, or the new Afterburner card died. Please give us $5,000 for a new one. You're gonna have that money ready to spend and hope that you might get it back after they issue a recall,
yeah,
if they ever do. So it's a big risk.
And they could be sneaky with their recalls, adding or subtracting serial numbers as the program evolves. They don't always, inform you right away. I mean, in a perfect world, you register your computer, they should email you updates specifically about that computer, but they're not going to do that.
Right.
well, yeah, that doesn't happen. I mean, that's probably not going to happen. The only time they're going to do something is when they start getting so many complaints. For instance, let's go back to the butterfly keyboard. They kept saying nothing's wrong with it. It's only a few small people, but then they come out with a repair program because guess what? It got to be to the point where too many people were complaining about it. It was going viral on a lot of boards that we frequent a lot, and so Apple had to do something about it. But you can bet that if they don't have to do something, they're not going to do it.
Yeah. They will only do it if they get caught.
Yeah.
Basically, it's cheaper to screw people over in the long run.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. I remember a time where Apple would actually call you and try and sell you AppleCare for computers more. They did that to my dad's Mac, and for answering the call, they were like trying to sell him AppleCare for his graphite Power Mac, and he was like, "No, I can fix it my own."
Yep.
Yeah. Basically.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. All right. So, okay. Last question here is: when was the last time your policy was updated to reflect the value of your gear/collection?
Never.
I have to do that. It was probably when we moved. I updated it.
Well, you've probably gotten more stuff since like the last time that you updated it.
True. Part one is updating the list.
Yeah, you probably have a big database somewhere of all your stuff, right?
It's a spreadsheet on a 12-inch PowerBook.
And even in the comments, I think there's only two people. Brock said yes, Trina said renter's insurance, and that's it. So,
Yeah, well, like I said, I have renter's insurance, and it does cover all my computers and stuff like that. I made sure of that. It's listed in the thing.
And that's cheap enough. You really get your good bang for your buck there for renters.
Yep.
What, like under At least where I was, it was like under $20 a month.
Oh,
it was like
hell
10
yeah.
or something like that.
Oh yeah. Well, it's funny because my renter's insurance is the same insurance company I do with my auto insurance. My bank is there. My car loan is through them, all through one place. And it's and a lot of you guys can't get it because it's USAA, but
Right.
they do a lot of stuff, and it's really good to have it all in one place there.
Well, technically, I could get it because both my grandparents were, both grandfathers were in the army. So, but it's only up to grandchildren, I think.
I can't remember.
We should have an insurance sponsor with all this insurance.
We should.
Yeah.
Just no Geico. Sorry, I can't stand that lizard.
Steve will come to your house and collect your broken computers. That's the insurance policy.
Or he'll break your kneecaps.
A little bit of both.
All right. Any other on this topic before we move on?
No, Jake says he still needs renter's insurance.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised, Jake, that they let you rent without getting it because a lot of places that's part of the lease. You have to actually.
Required
They
where
don't enforce
I
it.
was.
Huh?
They don't enforce it. It was in my lease. You need to show it the second you arrive and take the key. Okay, where's the key? Here you go. Bye bye. They didn't ask me.
Well,
If you live in a complex like I used to, where it was like owned by another company, very formal, lots of forms, and that's one of the things. I couldn't set foot in the apartment even to look before, because they didn't give me the key or anything, without faxing them proof of insurance and all this garbage.
Yep.
So state by state it differs, but yeah.
Yeah,
I would
exactly.
say that's illegal in Pennsylvania.
What?
They can't force you to have renter's insurance to rent in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it's New Jersey.
Because in Pennsylvania, renter's insurance only covers the contents of the apartment. It doesn't cover the apartment itself.
Well, yeah.
So like if I had a just quote unquote, if I had a fire here, first of all, I wouldn't lose that much because I only have my MacBook Pro and my Mac Pro here. I mean, yeah, I guess you could call that a huge loss, but it's not really. My renter's insurance would actually replace them, and then they'd laugh at me for using 10-year-old computers, but they replace them. But the apartment itself is covered by my landlord. My landlord has to hold insurance on the property.
Well, yeah, and that's
my insurance won't pay for anything.
And that's the way it works with most places that you rent is they carry insurance on the property. You're only insuring what's inside of it, your personal belongings.
Yeah, so therefore they can't force you to have renter's insurance in Pennsylvania. So
Interesting.
That is interesting because see, like if you don't have renter's insurance and let's say this place burns down, yeah, the apartment complex or whatever is going to get their money from their insurance companies, but you're going to be out of luck because they're not going to pay you anything.
yeah.
Hey guys.
Well, and that's the risk you take. I mean, I have renter's insurance. I have $65,000 on everything in this house, but I don't have to have it.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying. A lot of places I know in a lot of states and like especially when you're dealing with a partner like what you have, Greg. I know you're forced to have it, but they can't do that here.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'll be right back.
I just do it for my own protection.
I'm going to switch rooms and machines.
My collection isn't even covered by my insurance policy. It's covered. My collection is covered by my works insurance policy, which is $1.5 million. So, if anything happens, anything happens down there, I'm good. That's why I pay to store your stuff at work.
Well, what if it burns down, or if your work burns down?
So,
yeah,
you'll get a shiny new Mac.
No, that's just our liability policy. That's not our content policy for the main garage. That's just the liability policy for all the stuff around the garage. So.
Yeah, I was just looking it up. In New Jersey, it's not mandatory to have renter's insurance, but now I remember what happened. It was part of the lease that they required it. If I didn't get renter's insurance, they wanted some crazy amount for a security deposit. So they'll weasel it one way or another to try and get you to do that.
Yeah,
because I'm sure it's I'm sure they pay less and they're whatever, if you have it. So
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, having renter's insurance is cheap, and it's well worth it. I mean, if you
Yep.
don't have it, I suggest you get it because it's just something, and it's like I think mine's like $30 a month or something like that. It's not even a lot, So I would suggest you get at least renter's insurance. If not,
yeah, look into the laws where you live and see what benefits you.
yeah. And I think some companies might do computer equipment only and stuff like that. I mean, you could try that and see what happens. And we lost Jay.
No, I think he just turned his video off. Or maybe not.
No, I think we lost him.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess that
All right.
topic's covered.
Well, I think one of these is one that he probably wants to be on here for the next couple of ones. I know he needs to be here for topic 3 because
we can start talking, and I'm sure he'll come back.
Yeah. All right. There he is. He's
Told
back.
What up?
You
were gone.
You were gone.
I had an unannounced visit.
Ah. Okay. We were wondering about that. All right. So we're going to go ahead and transition to our next topic here. Upgrading older machines. Now, this is a lot of stuff that us as a group here, we do a lot of, especially Grudy. So with him not being here, we could talk about it a little bit. Yeah. So is it worth it? Should you do it, or should you just get something newer instead? I say depends on the machine and how much you can upgrade it to. For instance, I'm actually running on a 2009 Mac Pro that's been upgraded by me. It had basic processors in it when I first got it. Didn't have a video card, but it works fine. In fact, it works so good I don't even use my 2017 iMac anymore.
You're selling it.
Yes, I am. So, I mean, that goes to show you that, 10-year-old computers can sometimes be better than brand new computers. I mean, that's just a example there of one that's better. Now, a G4 or G5, nope, because there's only so much you could do to those, and because the software, it only goes up to a certain...
It depends. Like, I spend a lot more than I should. If I get a G4, I would put, a good graphics card in, a Sonnet CPU upgrade, solid state drive, SATA card, and then I put it on a shelf when I'm done. But on
Well, you do it for a hobby. I mean, but
yeah.
For general purpose usage, would you do it?
Yes.
So
Okay.
I think it all depends on what you're trying to get out of it. Are you trying to prolong the life of the machine by a few years? Are you trying to do something that your machine couldn't handle before? I mean, I think there's a lot of different use cases for wanting to upgrade an old machine, or you just want to do something crazy with it.
Yeah, true. I mean, I took an iMac G4, and the only upgrade I did to it is I put a compact flash adapter in it for the IDE drive. Pretty much all I've done so far.
Have you used that Mac since?
Yes, I actually do use it. I use it as as you said to one person on Discord today, a fancy jukebox.
So it would work.
Yes. I mean, I didn't upgrade
Yeah,
processor or anything, and I'm using Pro speakers that I got from Mike on it.
Yeah, I think it all. It's per scenario, I guess. Like for a hobby, there's financial limits to what you can do before your wife chops your head off, for example. When it's for work, you theoretically can spend more because it's a return of investment. But in general, any Mac I ever lay my hands on will receive upgrades,
Yeah.
whether it's worth it or not,
Yeah.
for the average user.
Yeah, I remember that. My dad had that Sawtooth Power Mac for a while. I'm sorry, the graphite one, and it was like only like the 450 megahertz model. And we were looking at the Quicksilvers, and he was doing more graphics work and stuff. And he was, comparing the prices of like a CPU upgrade and this and that. But it's like once you upgrade the CPU, okay, you're bottlenecked by the system bus and the hard drive speed. All right, what if you get a card to do the hard drives faster? Well, then you're limited by this. And it's always like a cascading type thing. So Jay's point is extremely valid here. It depends on how much you want to put into it and what you're actually going to be doing with it. Yeah, is it going to be worth it, or is it going to be cheaper to just get a secondhand machine that may not be as fast, but hey, it's it's a step up from what you have.
Yeah. Well, Matt's Tech asked a question here. He goes, can you use a Thunderbolt display? Can it be used on a 1,1 Mac Pro? And we've all said no, of course. But here's my question. There is a Thunderbolt adapter that people have been using on a Mac Pro, but you have to boot it in Windows first, and then you have to soft reboot it into Mac OS in order for it to work.
There is a Thunderbolt card out there that without the need for Windows, you can drive the Thunderbolt display, video only.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, it won't do data though, so the iSight won't work, the ports won't work, the speakers won't work, but it'll push video without going to Windows.
Just trade that for a LED display, not the. Just trade it for the pre-Thunderbolt display with somebody who wants the other one.
Yeah,
that's what I would do.
By the way, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Yeah, I know that you could also do it on the 3,1. I don't know if it would work on the 1,1, 2,1, but the 32-bit EFI though.
That's a good point right there.
That could be the issue right there. Because it would work in El Capitan for sure, probably.
Well, also would the PCI Express lane support it though?
It works in 3,1. It's a similar board.
Yeah.
Different chip, but similar board. So in theory, it probably would.
Yep. So.
Yeah, I mean, that point is like, I would argue that upgrading at that point to try and get Thunderbolt out of a machine like that is a little, probably not worth it to me. I mean, if you had a specific reason, you absolutely needed Thunderbolt. It wasn't, hey, I just wanted to be able to drive this display.
Well,
I'd probably be like, eh.
To be honest with you, Thunderbolt is still not that widely popular, you might want to say, because they don't have a lot of things that actually use straight Thunderbolt.
Well, there's a ton of things, but you have to have the cash to buy
exactly.
expensive things.
It's cheaper to buy something
and to be honest,
that's USB 3 than,
And to be honest, anything that Thunderbolt will do, not everything, but the Mac Pro has slots and expansion ports and all this stuff in it. That's what Thunderbolt was adding to like an iMac or a laptop that you didn't have those ports and slots in. So like I would argue that, I guess there is a use for Thunderbolt on a Mac Pro tower, but there's less of a use because you have, those PCI slots and everything that, there's a limit of what you can plug in there, but at least you have something when you compare it to like an iMac or a MacBook Air or something.
Right.
And that's why I always thought Thunderbolt was awesome, because you're actually getting some, some direct path into the processor and the PCI bus and all that stuff. So, I'm not knocking Thunderbolt. I love the damn thing. That's how I have USB 3 on my 2011 iMac. But,
Well, I mean, I have USB 3. I have a USB 3.0 card in my Mac Pro that I actually use. Rather extensive.
The same one you told me to get.
Yeah, it works perfect. I mean, I bought it used from a guy on one of the Facebook groups. I think I paid $10 for it or something like that. I can't even remember. But it was well worth it because I have a USB 3.0 hub that I got plugged in, so I have easy access to all my 3.0 ports.
The only problem I found with hubs is for some reason mine identifies it as a USB 2 in Mac OS.
Probably because you're using a USB 2 hub.
Well, no, it's USB 3 in Windows. It just won't show up as USB 3 in Mac OS.
Some of those, it's like the chip is not like super Mac friendly for whatever stupid reason. You can get into weird weird situations. I had to return a hub because of that, and I ended up with, I think the brand is Anchor, and I didn't have any problems with that until the power supply died and they replaced it, but that one seems to work.
All right, Jay's telling me to
Yeah,
go
but-
check Discord, so I got to go see what's over there.
Well, I physically can't on this computer.
Why can't you?
Yeah, but I mean, but there's
I don't have it on this computer.
Oh.
if you're talking about it, you could just like go nutty.
There you go.
Now I have to load it up.
Oh, the memes are already flying from this show, so.
I can only assume
Yeah.
what some of them are.
Okay, so upgrading other old computer, and I mean, a lot of us have Mac Pros, and we've upgraded a lot on these things. We talked to, or Jay and I were talking yesterday, and I was actually on my Mac Pro under Windows, of course, and we found out because someone was saying that the Mac Pro doesn't turbo, right, Jay?
Yeah.
Should we mention their name or not? Okay. Anyway, someone has said that the Mac Pro does not turbo. Yet, when I was showing Jay some pictures of my, was it 5675 chips, which are supposed to be at 3.06 gigahertz, they were turboing at 3.44 gigahertz steadily. I mean, you know, at a steady pace. Was only using maybe 20% of my CPU usage, so I still had about 75% CPU left, but still, and the temperatures weren't going up any higher. So we know for a fact that those will turbo up. So anybody looking to upgrade a Mac Pro, I would say go with the 75s. One, because they have a less wattage. I think, what is it, 80 watt or 85 watts? Versus versus what is the other one, 140 watts. So you're going to get about the same performance with less power usage. So
I'll stick to my 80s that I haven't installed yet.
okay, so
you already bought.
Yeah.
That's true.
So you can't even say that if you haven't installed them yet.
By the way, what channel on Mac-Yak is the memes in? Because I can't seem to find them.
The one that says weekly show memes.
Show memes.
Oh, I missed that one.
Because yeah, I guess in West Virginia don't teach you to read properly, right? No, just kidding.
Jay, really?
Oh, trust me, I think Dana's going to come up with some better ones. So.
Yeah, these are pretty mild, dude. I mean, come on.
Yes.
Yeah, we've had worse.
All right. So, what about? What else are we talking about here in this topic of upgrading older machines? I mean, I know Grudy, you've done a lot.
To narrow it down a little, let's define old, because I don't consider my Mac Pro old.
You can, yes and no. I mean, here's the question: does Apple still support this Mac Pro?
That doesn't make it old. I mean, this will run circles around any Mac out there, except the iMac Pro at the moment.
Yeah.
So can you call it old?
I would say anything 10 years or older would be old. Anything.
And it's technically based off 11-year-old hardware, so
Yeah.
it's old.
Yeah.
I consider PowerPC old.
Well, yeah, that is old,
Yeah,
and
too. Yeah.
basically you can only go so far on the software side on that. I mean, there's no way you're putting anything past Leopard on it.
Well, Linux.
Well, I'm talking about Mac OS, not
True.
something else.
You know, Mac, yeah.
Linux can run on a Mac. It still makes it a Mac.
Not Linux, yak. Yeah, I would say
Yeah,
Core 2 Duo is old.
Yeah.
I would say Core i5 and newer would be not old.
Well, it depends on the Core i5 you're talking about. What generation i5 or i7 or i9 even? I would say anything probably 4th gen and older
newer, 4th gen and newer. Anything 3rd gen and back aren't supported by Apple anymore.
Yeah.
But Haswell and later are, so they would still be new.
So
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as Jay. I think of PowerPC and 68K machines when you say old, and I see a G4 and I'm like, oh, that's not too old.
Yeah, right.
Well, considering that 90% of my daily users are running Core 2s, I don't know if I consider them old or not, but I do upgrade the heck out of them. So,
Yeah.
and you can actually get a lot of money and performance out of a really cheap piece of hardware like a Core 2 Mac Pro or something.
okay, Dana goes 8088 is old, and that is correct.
That's very
I think
old.
we could all agree on that.
Yeah, I don't even think Apple even used an 8088 ever,
I don't think
No.
so. No,
because they were
they were using different chipsets.
well, they were using Motorola pretty much up until the G5, and then that was IBM, of course, and
Well, that's kind of a mixed thing because the AIM alliance was IBM, Motorola, and Apple, and IBM made a lot of G3s.
did not know that.
So, yeah.
So, but to be honest with you, how many people out there actually still use Power PCs? I mean, I do too. So, I think all
Mike, raise your hand.
you use a Power
That's
PC.
true, I do.
Even Rocky
Well,
does.
he's fancy. He's got the prototype power.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
It's true. He is. He's
And it's
fancy.
sitting in the closet.
Keeping it in the closet, huh? So, reason why I say
like
this,
to
guys,
put it.
the reason why I say this, especially to our audience, is they still have uses.
They do.
Okay, I use mine as a jukebox. My iMac G4 is used as a jukebox. I like the aesthetics of it too. I mean, it looks cool.
I still won't browse the web on my iMac G4. I mean, come on.
I don't, because it's painfully slow.
Oh, you get used to
I
it pretty
keep
quick.
saying that, but I don't see where that's coming.
Yeah. Especially if you use the right
certain
user agent.
sites, but yeah,
Yeah.
you use the right user agent, right browser, you're gonna be pretty okay,
Oh, yeah.
depending on what sites you go on.
I never have an issue. You have a good no script installed, and you got the occasional SSL warning, like, hey, this site needs HTTPS. You ignore the warning. You just carry on as normal. And I've never had a website break or not work on a power.
Well, I've not had. I'm not saying I've not had them not work or anything, but it's painfully slow, is what I'm saying. Not.
Well,
Yeah.
it's slow compared to what you're used
Exactly.
to. You're used to
Yes.
zippy fast machines. If I went back in time and 10 years ago or 15 years ago at this point was using a G5 or a G4 for web browsing, I probably wouldn't notice a difference. And sites were
Yeah.
much simpler back then too. So.
Yeah, and considering the speed and reliability of my internet, I definitely don't see a difference.
Well,
Yeah, right.
yeah. You should actually do your editing of your videos on a G5.
I've actually considered it, but I can't figure out how Final Cut 6 and 7 works.
Oh,
Yeah,
they're
it's not
just a
easy.
little.
Yeah. I also tried iMovie 09 and I about ripped my hair out, so
Oh,
I'm just
yeah,
going to
good luck
stick to
with
the
that.
new stuff.
But the reason why I mention that too is because, guys, if you haven't checked out Power PC Gaming Lounge, go there.
Yeah.
We play Unreal Tournament 2004 all the time.
That's where I met these crazy guys.
Exactly. That's how
Exactly.
that's how we all met. Actually, was
There are several members that have 24/7 accessible servers. Unreal Tournament 99, Unreal Tournament 2004,
Quake.
and was it Minecraft?
Quake actually is out there too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Quake.
quick.
And I think someone recently set up a Minecraft
I
server.
think so. I can't remember. I think it was the same one. I think the same one runs Quake. Blake, I think, is running.
Did he?
Blake is running UT99. Chris is running
Uh,
Quake.
Chris might be running Minecraft too. Then I think
Did he?
one of them is running a Minecraft server. I heard. So I don't know. I don't remember.
Now I gotta go check.
But anyways, guys, those old computers run older games perfectly fine. In fact,
Oh yeah.
if a lot of you guys don't realize it, the Xbox, the original Xbox, was based on a Power PC. And
The 360.
yeah,
was.
and guess
The original one was based off of Pentium 3.
and they used a
About
G5.
Celeron.
Yeah, and they used a G5 to actually write the code for the games.
Well,
Yep.
the first development
Yeah.
ones, but yeah.
Yeah, the development kits. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, so they still have their uses.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, there's a difference of playing a period appropriate game on a machine and then trying to run something crazy modern like Minecraft. Yeah, it could be done, but you're not going to get the performance you're going to get on a modern machine.
well, Matt goes. He
But
tried.
it's fun to try.
Yeah, he tried to play Minecraft on his
It's certainly
G4,
fun.
and it ran at 3 frames
Right.
per second.
But also, I mean, just because I have some knowledge of Minecraft, it's Java based. It's not optimized for anything, so it's gonna run like crap no matter if it's an old Mac or an old PC.
I want to go off script. I have a question.
Yep.
Speaking of games, who uses emulators to play games on their Mac?
I actually do. I use Sheep Shaver.
I haven't tried it, but I'm probably going to do it. And PowerPC is a great platform to do it.
I used to play Nintendo 64 games on a 12-inch PowerBook G4, and it emulated pretty darn well because I believe the processor in the Nintendo 64 was similar enough to a PowerPC where the emulator worked pretty well.
It's a RISC processor. Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is it ran better, at least in my experience, on a Mac than it did on my PC at the time.
Yeah.
And the Mac was 867 megahertz, and the PC was like a 1 or 2 gigahertz Pentium 4. So
Yeah.
I use, and I got into it again a few days ago. I used OpenEMU, so that's OpenEMU, and you can load in PlayStation, N64, and as you saw, the controller I just held up, I'm very, very good at N64 games. So I've been playing Mario Kart, Super Mario, and just
I usually just stick to the original hardware.
yeah, I don't want to set up a giant CRT in my living room just to play N64.
I'm working on converting mine over so it will work digitally.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
that could be a
Steve, sorry.
whole other topic. No, I'm just saying that maybe I'll cover that on next week's show.
All right, we'll save it for then.
Well, that's right.
Oh no, I'm just saying there's a whole slew of things you can get into.
See, we got Trina feeling left out because she's not a gamer. Well, yeah, you are left out.
Start.
Sorry.
Download a
of
game.
course,
Have
Jake
fun.
is like listing all the freaking things he plays, but he lives the game. Matthew says Virtual 2 and Cata King. I don't know what that means. Must be some kind of emulator.
I have a fun game, and it was available on OS 10. I don't know if anyone's really heard about this one. I remember playing a demo back in the day. It's addictive. It's called Grids with a Z.
Yeah.
Heard of this?
I've seen it before, but I don't even know what the game is about.
So if you look at this like map kind of thing, basically you start with like a home base, and the idea is you have a little army of robots, and you have to take over the other bases. But
Oh, okay.
there's a lot of different mechanics to it, and it's pretty fun. From what I understand, it's a Mac-only game, so it's OS 9, later version for OS 10. But a really fun little Mac-exclusive game. So if you guys don't know about it, check it out. It's on Macintosh Garden.
Yep.
It's a fun one.
Well, Trina's got a question for us here. Does anyone know how to put a SSD in a Mac Pro 3,1? Yes. You buy one and
You put it in the drive.
yeah.
Yeah, you just slide it in. Now, if you need the adapter, that's a different
Well,
story.
they-
But you can just tape it in if anything.
Well, that and they also make these little well, you could get it if you have a 3D printer. You could 3D print an adapter, or what I used to do, but since the SSDs are so light, you could just actually go in there and plug them in, and they'll just hang right there. They're so light that they don't.
As long as you don't move the Mac Pro, it should be
Yeah.
fine.
Pretty
Or
smart.
a better way
Just for
go ahead.
Just to say, remind yourself that you put them in there. I went to
Yeah.
the SSD and I'm trying to put a hard drive in the slot. I'm like, why isn't this going in? Oh, crap.
Well, another way to do it too is I don't know about the 3,1s. Do they have SATA connectors for the optical
No.
drives? No, so you can't put it in optical drives. I know in the 4,1 and 5,1 you can.
I mean, technically, you could get an IDE to SATA adapter, but yeah, no.
You're not going to
But
get any.
They do
does
have
the
optical
3.1
drive
have a port?
SATAs.
Doesn't
Yeah, they have the
3.1
ports.
Have a port on the board that
The
you can
ports
extend?
behind the front fan, yeah. The thing is that if you would happen to want to use Windows, they won't show up in Windows.
Nobody wants to use Windows.
Exactly. But if you would want to use Boot Camp, it won't work with Boot Camp.
Nobody wants to use Boot Camp.
Come on, Jay, admit it. You
Nope.
even use Windows sometimes.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
No, I
Oh,
don't.
you're lying because you admitted that a few shows ago.
Uh-huh.
I have, and this is at least 7 months ago, I uninstalled my virtual machine for Windows a very long time ago. I haven't looked back.
I think Jay's lying to us. What do you guys think?
I think he's full of it.
It's on a backup somewhere. It exists.
Yep.
So, Greg, why don't you drive here, check out every hard drive of my machine, and pick up all your crap from the basement?
Ah!
Hey, I told you to mail that stuff to me, and you didn't even read the message.
Well, you got to pay for shipping.
Pack up 2 Emacs and a bunch of laptops.
Well,
for
the
me, put it in a
laptops
tray.
at least.
Yeah. Those are taking up space.
He'll pack it just like redact it.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, get a box full of parts, little teeny pieces.
Yeah. But then you can't mention my name on stream because I'm your
That's
friend.
right. Can't.
All bets are off.
You have to say redact it. Anyways, guys, so is that going to be it on this topic? Have we?
I think so.
All right.
I don't even know what the topic was because I came in late.
Next.
We were just talking about upgrading.
Okay, so you're not watching the stream apparently then.
Well, I'm watching the live feed on text, but I'm not actually watching the stream. I'm watching us.
Okay. This topic was upgrade for old Macs. If you didn't understand what we were talking about.
Right. Okay, yeah.
We got to be slow. We got to be slow for Grudy sometimes, guys. So.
Yeah, millennials. What are you gonna do?
Okay, guys, let's go ahead and move on to our next topic here. Basically, this one I'm going to throw to Jay because I have no clue about this one. So, Jay, take over.
Hold on, let me pull up the PDF here. I don't know what we're doing.
This is pretty bad.
Oh, yes, this is fun. Anyone that has flash drives with installers for whatever operating system, raise your hand. Okay. As of today, they no longer work.
Yay! Oh.
Why will they no longer work?
You may recall in 2015, Apple's security signing certificates expired, and suddenly updaters and OS installers would cease to function
Yeah.
because of that. It happened again today. Only this time, Apple caught on about a week in advance, so they've been quietly updating all their installers and re-releasing them to the App Store and stuff. With one exception, El Cap is no longer on the App Store. So if you want to, if you have a flash drive with El Capitan on it, and you want to install it as of, I believe, right now, 9 o'clock, October 24th, 2019.
Well, the only thing you gotta do is set the clock back on the Mac, and it
Right.
works.
You set the clock back to any day before right now, and El Cap will work again.
Yeah.
For Sierra, High Sierra.
It's not that big of a
Mojave,
deal.
You just download the latest installers from the App Store, and you're good to go.
Well, it's a big deal from someone who, say, has a backup.
What?
Greg was saying it's not a big deal, but I just wanted to say it's a big deal if that's your USB system to restore your Mac in case of a crash, and you're not aware of this, so it's a good PSA.
And if you have a large collection of combo updates, security updates, in-between updates, and all that stuff, they're all useless now. because
Yeah.
they no longer work.
So basically, you're going to wipe
Yeah,
your
that
wired
reminds
section, right?
That reminds me, I was looking at the certificate on Snow Leopard the other day, and I realized it was today.
yeah.
So yeah,
So
that's going to be a pain.
I have 365 gigabytes of stuff I need to go through to see what can be re-downloaded. Apple has been seeing if you run software update server, that's part of macOS 10 server. That's how people actually caught on, because people that are working IT and large schools and businesses and stuff, they saw security updates for Mavericks suddenly roll out again. So Apple is choosing very carefully which updates to re-update with the certificate, pretty much, but it's not a lot of them, and there's no real easy way to check. So you're just gonna have to download it, find a machine.
Well, sometimes it will show the certificate up in the top corner, and you can just click on it.
If you have a package installer, yes. If
Yeah.
you have an OS installer, no.
True.
But anything newer than LCAP is now signed with a certificate that will expire in 2029. So just re-download those and you're good.
Are you sure they updated Sierra, considering they basically hidden it from history?
They did.
Really?
You gotta
Interesting.
find it, but
Yeah, you got to find it. Yeah.
so yeah, that's fun. I spent the last 2 days.
So-
Especially at work.
Here's a question I got then: how's that affecting Colin's patchers for older software?
Well, his patcher, when you choose the download feature, it links directly to whatever's available on the App Store. Last I checked,
Yeah.
so you should be all right.
Unless they change their links, like Apple probably.
And if you in the last few days have seen supplemental updates for your Mac OS, whatever version that may be, install it, because the installer on your recovery partition also stops working today. That's why
Oh,
you
that's
need
that's
supplemental.
lovely.
Oh, that's a pain.
Yeah, it's fun. My entire work basically runs on re-imaging machines, cleaning them up, fixing them, and reselling.
And now they got to redo all that.
I re-imaged about 60 flash drives. I had to update the Boy Studio. I spent the last 2 days fixing this mess. It was fun. So you can imagine how people feel that are managing 500, 5,000 people, corporations, or school districts. With this
I can't imagine that. That's yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
if you have
what
a
about
flash drive with an
legacy?
installer, update it.
What about legacy, like Tiger or Leopard, for instance, for PowerPC?
You, sir, are shit out of luck.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
That's where make
And you-
life fun.
Well,
Those expired a while ago, didn't they, Jake? Or no? The PowerPC ones?
I think
Come to think of it, they never updated them, and they still work. So I guess it doesn't apply to
Did
them.
they even have?
well,
I don't even think they have
I don't
certificates.
think they did.
They don't have certificates, but it's only just like LCAP. You can start the installer. And it'll select
Oh, yeah.
all of them,
And it will give you an
Yeah.
error.
but
Yeah.
it's some of the internal packages that are signed with that expired certificate. So you try to install LCAP right now. It'll start. You can select the disk, agree to the agreement, and then it'll just error out and say there's no packages available to install.
Yeah,
Because-
my
yeah.
copy of Mountain Lion does that because it's from the one pre-2015, and I just always set the clock back.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, and once you install it, you can set the clock forward and you're good.
Yeah.
So,
So setting the
That-
clock
that's
back.
good to know,
is
though,
one
Jack.
workaround. If you have an old installer, like what Rudy just mentioned, find out when that expired. Typically 2015 or 2014, I think.
Yeah, I just roll my clock to 2013, and
Yeah. So there are workarounds,
Uh,
but if you're doing this on a large scale, definitely update your installers and install your supplemental updates.
yeah.
Now, is there a way for you to update your recovery partition?
That's what the supplemental updates are for,
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
So that
which Apple doesn't mention. It says this improves the stability and security of your
I
Mac.
noticed.
That's
I
it.
noticed that Catalina had a supplemental update a couple days
Yeah.
ago. So that's probably one of the reasons why.
You think they would have changed the certificate on their newest OS beforehand?
And we're talking about Tim Tim Apple.
This
So
is Apple we're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
somebody goes, okay,
Dick is asking, what about installing offline? You still have to set your clock back.
Yeah, you still have to set it back.
It's built in.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's fun. Enjoy updating all your installers.
Thanks, Apple.
Yeah. And the sucky part is they knew it this time. In 2015, it caught Apple by surprise, and it was just a giant cluster, you know. But now they knew, and they didn't alert anyone. They've just been quietly pushing out updates
They
for
don't
their own
care.
stuff.
Well, honestly, why do they even do it when you think about it? Because if you just set your date back, how is that being any security anything?
Well, here's the thing is,
How many people do you think know about the date trick?
most
That's true, but still.
most users, Greg, are, I hate to say the word, but idiots, and
Yeah.
they
Not tech
yeah,
savvy.
exactly. So they install, and Apple says, "Oh, install this update." They just go poof, without even thinking about it and do the update. You know, so that's the type of users that really don't care. But they're people like us that try to do this old hardware and stuff. That, for instance, like I got a 2009 iMac sitting back here. So if I ever try to redo it, I need to change my installer because guess what? High Sierra ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
Actually, let me try to open an installer now. See what happens.
Didn't have that problem with System 7.
Yeah. Not working anymore. I guess it expired sometime this afternoon.
Apple and its infinite wisdom.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I don't even know why they put certificates. I can understand because it's.
I just said that.
I understand that, but I'm just saying I just still can't figure out why.
The same reason why they pull the old iOS updates, because they want to control everything.
Yeah, and the security
Walled
is an
garden,
aspect.
blah,
Like
blah.
if someone tampers with your installer and puts some malware in it, you know, the certificate checksum should prevent you from installing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just opened up my Mojave installer and it says the copy of install macOS Mojave application is damaged and cannot be used to install macOS.
So you
The fun has already started.
so you put the clock backwards and tried it.
I'm not changing my clock while I'm streaming.
Yeah, that can be
Just
bad.
gotta add that.
That's why you get a different Mac to do that.
No, I tested all this over the last 2 days. It's real. So have fun. Let us know. At least
Great,
after
that-
you've done it, you don't have to worry about it again until 2029.
So,
Well, that means I have
10
like
years.
a butt ton of installers just sitting on my Mac Pro that won't run now.
Correct?
that's what we just said about
Wonderful.
Jay's wired server. He's got a 365 gigabytes that he has to go through now.
Yeah.
Dude, all my combo updates, every version of the installer, it's all useless now. Unless I'm messing with the clock, of course. But it kind of sucks.
Yeah. Now, give it 6 months and you'll forget about the certificate thing, and you'll go to install something and you'll be like, why is this not working?
What the hell? Yeah.
You'll be another Kin episode there, 4 hours trying to figure out that, oh, it's the certificate.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm considering setting up my own network time server to just, if I do an install, click a button, the clock will go back for the entire network and see how
That'd
that
be
goes.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be interesting.
We're
to-
going to have to do that with the Power PCs anyway in a couple of years.
Hey, you should do a
Yeah.
video
Hey,
on
what's-
that.
Yeah, what's annoying is like you're saying, Jay, like Apple's, warning doesn't really tell you exactly what's going on. So, for somebody who doesn't know what they're looking at, they have to Google that error and then like, oh, okay, this is what it means. But,
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's fine. This application is damaged and cannot be used. So some people will probably think, okay, let me go back to the App Store, re-download.
yeah, let me re-download
And
it.
then,
If you're running Mojave, you can't even re-download it because
Yeah.
all the old versions are hidden. So it is a mess, absolutely.
What a mess.
yep.
So, yep, fun times. I just thought I'd cheer you all up.
See, I saw this topic and I was asking Jay, I said, what is the deal with this? Because I have no clue. He said, oh, I'll share it for Showtime. So I'm just as surprised as you guys are on the channel here because he didn't share this info with us pre-show.
I remember when it happened the first time because that was around the time I started getting into Mac and all the installers I had downloaded just randomly stopped working. So I remember.
Depressing topic. Let's just move along.
Pepper. I was going to say Pepper Charms remembers.
If there are any more questions about this, you can find us on Discord.
Yep. In the help and troubleshooting section.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, guys, so let's go ahead and move to our next topic, history, news, and rumors, and I'm going to throw this over to Steve.
Oh, okay. So,
Don't act surprised.
27. I didn't know we were going to move along that quick. It surprised me. So 27 years ago, Apple's first notebook computer was released. This is the PowerBook 100. And a few things were quite different from this compared to your laptops of the time. This is like one of the first machines, if not the first, to move the keyboard back. So you actually have a palm rest for your palms. So you can actually type on the machine. Some of the early laptops of the PC age, you see the keyboard right up against the front of the machine. That was just how they designed it. But Apple, in their wisdom, or whoever did it first, they stole it off each other or whatever. It was a palm rest. That was pretty cool. And you didn't have a trackpad. You had a trackball, which was very common for laptops of the day because that was, the miniaturization of technology. Instead of a big trackball, you got a little trackball. And it had pretty similar specs to the Macintosh Portable, which was a luggable, not really too portable, but by the standards of that day, hey, why not? Interesting thing that the PowerBook didn't have was a floppy drive. It had no built-in floppy drive, so you had to pay almost $300 for an external floppy drive. Yeah, but
I think it worked better than your SuperDisk does.
Yeah, probably. But what was neat about it is even though it didn't have a floppy drive built in, they introduced what they called SCSI disk mode, or dock mode, or whatever the proper name for it is. But essentially, you take a SCSI cable, you plug it into the back of your PowerBook, and then you plug it into the back of the desktop Mac, and that PowerBook's hard drive appears on the desktop of your other computer. So you could drag files to it, install things through it, use your floppy drive on the other Mac. So that was a pretty neat little thing that they did there, and that stuck around for a while. It was not a color laptop. It had a grayscale passive matrix LCD display, so it was, exactly. Anybody who knows what a passive matrix is and who's used one knows exactly why we're going, ugh.
My first laptop had one.
You drag something around on screen, and it's like you're not reading it until it stops.
See the ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the PowerBook 100, and I don't have one. I think I had a PowerBook 140. I gave some of them away to somebody a few years back. I think the oldest one I have is a 170 and a 180 or something like that. But pretty neat design. If I ever see one, I'd pick it up maybe. But so that's the first history part for this section. You want to take the next one, Greg?
Me,
yes,
Greg,
you.
or GT,
No.
Greg?
Yes.
What was the next one? Because I can't bring it up because I'm in Windows.
Happy
right
18th birthday to something.
Dear God.
Oh, yeah. Happy 18th birthday to the iPod on, when was it? October 23rd, 2001. The very first iPod was released. And it was the 5 gigabyte hard drive model with the jog wheel. They called it the jog wheel because it physically moved. And then, of course, later they called it the scroll wheel, and then the click wheel came out. But, it was a very, that's one of the things that really got Apple really going again and really made everything skyrocket, although it did, of course, take a few years. But if it hadn't been for the release in October, we wouldn't have iPods. So, happy birthday, iPod.
What do you think saved Apple? Was it the iMac or the iPod?
Oh, I think it was.
The iMac started it, and then the iPod.
I think the iPod
'cause-
kind of saved it because
Yeah, because the iMac was starting to die out. You could see their sales starting to dip again. And then
Yeah.
the iPod came out and it leveled out for a while, and then it just shot up like a rocket.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you think 1998 iMac, and then 99, 2000, 2001 iPod, and
Yeah.
they marketed the heck out of that. Especially you've seen the ads around the time of the G5 iMac. They were still touting from the makers of the iPod, the iMac. You know,
Well,
they were still riding.
here's
high
a
on
question
that.
I got, because
Yeah.
didn't the first iTunes only run on a Mac?
Yes, it
It-
did.
Yep.
For a
Yeah, I was
year,
gonna say it didn't come out till.
For almost 2 years.
Yeah, it didn't.
almost
Because
2
it
years.
came out in 2003. iTunes 3 was the first
Yeah,
one.
because it didn't come out for Windows
But-
until way later.
Even before iTunes on Windows, you could use an iPod on Windows using the Music Max's software.
Yeah,
Music Max.
Rhapsody or something like that.
Yeah.
Real Player, or I don't remember.
Yeah,
And I have a confession to make, because back then I was still in high school, and you know there was a lot of people boasting about their PCs, and PC could play these games that I could not play on my Mac and all that kind of stuff. And then the iPod came out with iTunes, and they couldn't use it, and it made me so happy.
Yeah, I remember there being bundles. If you look at the old computer magazines, they were selling an iPod, and then they would sell a FireWire PCI card for your Windows machine to get the iPod working on it, because you needed FireWire. There wasn't USB.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it wasn't until later when they had the dock connector version.
Yeah.
Well,
that was,
also
that was USB cable.
that was Apple's clever way of getting people to buy Macs too, if you think about it.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
because it just works. That was their thing.
Yeah, back then it
just
did.
works.
Yeah, back then it did.
It did back then.
Then wasn't it called iLink on Windows?
iLink.
Yeah,
Oh, so
FireWire?
that's Sony's proprietary
Yeah.
version of FireWire. They call it iLink, just a branding thing. It's
Yeah,
$13.94
it's just the
FireWire.
miniature
iLink.
4-pin FireWire. It's called iLink on PC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, on
But the
some
full
PCs
size
they call
6-pin is still called FireWire.
yeah, the PCs for whatever reason tend to just call it by 1394, which is the IEEE standard. And Sony just always said iLink because they dominated the camcorder market and said iLink on all their things. So I think it was just their trademark though. But yeah, on a Sony Vio PC, you'll see it say iLink or whatever. But all the same.
I got a quick question. Does anybody want to approve Wendy's? I don't know if we should let that one go or not.
Oh shit! Am I in trouble?
No one,
You might wanna
not
check
one
this
of us admins has said show or hide it yet.
I'm
I'm
not
not
touching
touching it either.
Yeah, I'm not either.
I'll let Jay.
It's gotta be good. Well, I can't see it until I'm back in the screenshot it.
I'll hand deliver it to you.
Oh, that's a good. See, you guys that are looking at the chat can't see it, but all of us can actually see this one, so
There you go, Joe.
it's pretty good.
Oh, there, somebody approved it.
Somebody approved it? I didn't see it approved. Ah, there it is. It got approved by who approved it? Mike.
Well, Mike approved.
He was playing the long game. He was all quiet here. Just gave it away.
I still don't know what it says. Come on.
I don't know.
I texted you.
I don't know who you texted. It wasn't me.
The progress bar on the Wi-Fi is chugging along there.
Oh, you guys and your Wi-Fi. You're killing me.
Hold on.
I'm sorry. Let me plug in a Lightning to Ethernet connector. Oh wait, that doesn't freaking exist.
There. Look at your
Anyway,
text.
guys,
Back to that.
let's roll on.
All right, so we know that the iPod pretty much saved Apple, I think. That's
Yes.
Oh, I
agree.
would definitely.
because then you had that.
That
Then
really gave a shot in the arm.
then the iPhone, which basically replaced the iPod, basically that really shot Apple to the stratosphere there. So,
Yep.
so everybody thinks that.
And I took us so off topic that I forgot what we were talking about in the first place.
Yep. All right, so let's go ahead and Mike, you are up for Mike's Mac Shack. So go.
Well, wait a minute. We
Wait,
didn't talk about.
wait.
We didn't talk about Mac OS 9.
It's not on the topic
Birthday.
list.
Steve said he was going to put
It's
it.
not there.
It even
about
says
Mac?
history, news, and rumors. Mac OS 9 turns 20.
It's not there.
It's not showing on mine either.
Mac OS 9 is dead. It can't turn 20.
But it literally
Jobs
says
buried
it
it.
on the screen. History, news, and rumors. Mac OS 9 turns 20, and we didn't mention it.
All right, we'll talk about it. Let's stop.
Okay.
shouting.
Mac OS 9 came out 20 years ago. It sucks. Next topic.
Yeah, long live 8.6.
Okay, now we
Actually,
can move
Mac OS 9 was horrible. It wasn't until 9.1 and 9.2 that it actually stabilized.
Uh-huh. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, the initial launch of Mac OS 9 was one of the biggest fiascos in Apple's history. So,
I think I skipped that. I stuck with 8.6 for a long time, but now, 20 years later, I love it.
Well, 9.22, especially with the OS 9 lives.
9.1 and 9.2 are great. I mean, for most things. I mean, they have their flaws. 8.6 is still the superior operating system.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But if you got an early iBook or an early iMac and it came with 9 or 9.01 or 9.04, it was like, ooh, good luck.
Yeah.
All right, Mike.
I think that was the fastest Apple ever put out updates for that thing.
So
Yeah.
go ahead with your.
Okay, so first of all, I'd like to thank somebody for not sending me pictures.
Oh, I have the stupid thing right here.
There's actually a picture up right now, as a matter of fact.
No, those are just stock pictures I found on the internet. Steve was actually supposed to take pictures with his super expensive iPhone and send them to me of an actual unit.
We'll do it live.
Even
Oh,
better.
guys.
Pictures you chose.
Guys. Brock says
What?
November 1st, the Mac Pro will be available for pre-order.
Ooh.
Oh, we're going to have some to talk
And
about.
OWC has upgrades for it on its website.
Yeah, but nobody buys OWC, right?
Jay got very happy and very.
Yeah, I was gonna
sad.
say.
Yeah, at the same time, yeah.
He went way up high and then went way down low.
I transitioned so fast from smile to frown, like half my mouth is stuck in smile, the other half is frown. It's weird.
Lord.
Speaking about the Mac Pro, the Macintosh 2 is the original Mac Pro, right, Mike?
Yes, it is.
Actually, it was. In 1987, it was probably one of the most expensive computers available at $5,500. It was probably also one of the slowest computers available at $5,500. But it had an advantage. It was color. So as Steve is showing you on the screen right now.
No, actually,
Macintosh 2
he isn't showing it because it's not. I have the picture covering that.
I lifted this damn thing up.
Yeah, that's
Take the picture away, Jay.
Well, it can't be that heavy. I see a lot of empty space.
All right,
in
there we go. It's off now. You can show it.
Okay, now hold it.
I have the lid off here, but here's the
So
back.
this absolute behemoth that Steve is trying to handle is a Macintosh 2. Came out in 1987. One of the very first color. Well, it was the first color
And he
Macintosh.
has parts falling out of it.
It's
Yeah.
a cable.
No, it's actually looks like a
It looks
dim.
like a
Looks like a
round chip.
dim.
Will you
Oh.
stop interrupting him?
Is that a Sony power supply?
Damn right it is. Continue, Mike.
interesting.
Power supplies, Sony floppy drives. So there's only one of two Macs ever used the 68020 processor for obvious reasons. They were very underperforming units, but as you can see, Steve's actually has the 68881 Matco installed in it as well. On top of being the first color Mac, it was also the first Mac to introduce NuBus slot, which was a 10 megahertz interface, similar to what we know now as PCI, but this is, of course, the 80s, so
Yeah.
very slow, but it allowed the Mac to output color depending on the video card that you had, which, by the way, was not sold with the computer. You had to
Damn
buy
right
the
it wasn't.
card separately. And the highest end color video card for the computer cost $4,000.
Wow. And you got
They sell it with color screen?
Oh no, that you had to pay for that too.
And a
That's another
stand?
$700.
And a keyboard.
Now, the keyboard and mouse came with it, but they didn't have a stand. You could just stand this thing up on the side. It stood on its own. I mean, the thing weighs like 40
No, I'm talking
pounds.
about a monitor stand. Because
Yeah.
a lot of people see that's what I'm talking about, Mike. Is a lot of people complain about the price of the Mac Pro, the new Mac Pro, and this thing was just as expensive back in the day.
Yeah.
This thing was introduced in March of 1987 at a price of $5,500.
What is that in today's dollars?
Okay. I would say double it plus 1,000, so probably about $11,000-$12,000.
Probably.
Now, okay, on top of this, the computer came with 2 floppy drives. It did not come with a hard drive. The hard drive was extra. The video did not come with the computer. The video card was extra. Basically everything that we take for granted nowadays was pretty much extra cost on this machine.
And how wide was that hard drive?
How wide?
What is that?
How wide was it?
How wide was that hard drive?
Oh my God! Has anybody ever seen a quantum Bigfoot?
Yeah.
The 5.25. Yeah.
Okay,
It's about
yeah.
the size of this.
That
It's a little
size,
bigger.
but double. Yeah, it's actually a little bigger than that. It weighs about 40 pounds. And it was one of the most unreliable hard drives ever made. To this day, I don't think there is one living example of that crappy piece of crap, horrible, wretched Rodyme hard drive. I think there's a reason Rodyme went out of business, and it was because of the Mac 2.
I'm going to put the camera back. I'm going to find the hard drive while you're talking about it.
It was pretty revolutionary, and it actually did kickstart the Macintosh 2 line.
Nice underwear there,
everybody
Steve.
well knows. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks for the crack shot. So there was the Mac 2, the 2X, which the 2X came out a year later, thank God. The 2, the 2X, the 2FX, and there was one other one, I think. There were several computers in that chassis. They were all geared at the higher end market. But thanks to that thing, we now have color graphics on our Mac.
Very fast
So
color.
if you were
Yeah.
to get that Mac and a color graphics card and a color screen, like you wanted the best, how much would you spend?
Back in the day.
Probably plus 10 grand plus.
Wow.
Yeah,
The hard drive.
you
You
actually
figure a hard drive would probably a 40 megabyte hard drive would probably set you back $1,000. 4 megabytes.
Look,
4 megabytes of RAM would probably set you back about $1,500. The graphics card, if you got the top of the line graphics card, that could set you back up to $4 grand. If you got the 20 or no, it was a 17 inch or
13-inch color monitor.
Well, no, you could get. I think there was a 17. Oh no, that was black and white.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it was just a 13-inch monitor that was color. That would probably set you back between $700 and $800. It was a very expensive machine. This is why you don't see many of them. And
there was
they were very.
a price list I put up a few weeks ago. I'm trying to find the link for it.
Yeah.
While Steve is wishing he had taken those photos in advance, is now looking for that hard drive. I want to announce a special GoFundMe that we're starting
For WD-40.
It's to get Greg some WD-40 for his desk, his chair.
I literally have a garage full of cans of WD-40.
Use it.
They ain't doing you much good in there.
The squeaking you're hearing is this chair squeaking across this.
Uh-huh.
You make more noise than my cat.
I'm telling you. That is true.
We haven't heard a single cat tonight.
No, we haven't. What'd you do? Did you kill them all?
Yeah, I had their livers with fava beans and some nice candy.
All right, we're ready for
I'll
the
put a picture.
But anybody,
The damn drive in Discord when I find it.
but yeah, if anybody's looking at an old Mac 2, this is one to avoid. Unless you're lucky enough to find one with the SuperDrive upgrade ROMs in it. If you
Exactly.
find the SuperDrive upgrade ROMs, then you can grab it. Then it would be a good machine. Otherwise, it's a very buggy machine, limited to 800K drives, 20 megs of memory, even though the stupid machine has 8 memory slots, and is very, very underwhelming performance-wise. The LC, the original LC, was the only other Mac to use the 68020 processor, and the reason why is because it was horrible. So,
And it was cheap.
And it was dirt cheap, yeah.
Yep.
So, but yeah, if you want a Mac 2, grab a 2X. You know, if you want a big one, grab a 2X, or if you're lucky, grab a 2FX. I mean, if you really want the best of the best, grab the 2FX. The 2FX came out a few years later and actually cost about the same amount of money as the original 2. And
Oh, really?
Yeah, and you talked about the 2FX like in episode like 10.
Bless you.
2? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Yeah, the 2FX was pretty expensive. No, I take it back. It was $10,000. So,
Yeah,
but at
here's-
least that
here's
was
the price list.
At
I'm
least that
putting
was
it-
$10,000 well spent. Yeah, I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, I just put that in the chat. It lists some Mac Plus stuff, but you see a Mac 2 with one internal floppy drive, standard keyboard, video card, monitor, $3,066.
That's
Steve, check your texts.
Oh, what I do? The answer is yes.
Okay.
The prices, man. Jeez.
Yeah, so that's the one thing I got to talk. You know, I try to tell people when they talk about the new Mac Pro price is that you guys don't understand that the stuff was ridiculously priced back in the day. You know, and
It's also why Apple started having financial problems because no one could afford their cheap junk.
yeah. So I mean, you look at the new Mac Pro's base price versus that. And that was actually more expensive because it didn't come with half the stuff you needed to even run.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in terms of like general like success / non-successful, the Mac 2 was actually not a very successful computer. They came out with the Mac 2X. I think about a year later, year and a half later, and it was a resounding success. It was less money, twice as fast, had much more expandability. That thing there, I think, could take 128 megs of memory.
Yeah, that one's much better.
Which probably would have set you back about $20,000 back then, you know.
Steve, did you ever find that hard drive?
No, I told you I'll put a picture in Discord. It's somewhere here. There's a pile of hard drives. To be honest with you.
If it's a
I'm not
pile of
gonna
hard
rub it
drives
in.
and that's one of the biggest drives on Earth, it shouldn't be
Well,
that hard to
I-
find to the pile.
I have a pile of SideQuest drives that are about the same size, and I'm like, oh, here it is. I'm like, oh no, that's not it.
Dude, you've never seen his basement. Trust me, he probably will have trouble finding it.
Thank you, Mike. Always appreciate it.
Welcome.
Thank you,
I'm
but
trying to defend you here.
Yeah, but so when
Oh.
I got this machine, it had a big hard drive and had 2 floppy disk drives. So this thing weighed even more than that. And I tried to get the hard drive working. Unfortunately, like Mike said, they were terribly unreliable. So I couldn't get to budge. But yeah, I did get to boot up. But unfortunately, yeah, only the 800K disks were in here. So I don't have the ROM up.
Is that the hard drive you were trying to get working on the live stream?
Probably one of the times,
Or
yeah.
maybe you were.
No,
recording a video
you're
and
thinking
you
of
were
the
on FaceTime.
profile, Jay.
Oh no, that was the Apple III profile one. But
Yeah, that's the
this is not too much smaller than that. We're only
Well,
talking a
actually,
few years difference.
Yeah, and I'm looking at this price sheet here of that Steve linked. A 2 meg memory expansion for that computer was $779.
We complain about things today.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why nobody has really a complaint about the new Mac Pro. They just want it cheaper is all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the hard drive that we're sitting here telling you about how horrible. Cost you $1,229.
Yeah, I got this machine about a year and a half ago. Unfortunately, I did not see if it was a 2 or a 2X or whatever because it was a very blurry photo. But he had this and a monitor. And so you're going to laugh because I got like the worst pickup because I paid close to $100. And it was this with the 800K drives and a monochrome monitor.
Oh.
So it wasn't even the color.
Those,
I got the monochrome.
Those monochrome monitors are some of the sharpest black and white displays you could ever see, though.
And
those were actually very common back then because color was not common.
You needed a heck of an expensive graphics card to drive it, so most people didn't care.
Yeah, because the color, just looking at this price sheet, the Mac high-res monitor, which was a 12-inch monitor, was $689. And the 8-bit video card was $100.
Wow.
That was probably the cheapest. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's the expansion. The video card was $349, and that was for the 4-bit card.
Yeah,
Whereas
I actually have
the monochrome monitor was $279, so you can see why people were going with the black and white.
Yeah, I have my father's 13-inch color monitor from his 2CX. I have a matching one, so a duplicate of that, and then I have the 13-inch monochrome. But, this has 6 NUBA slots. You could theoretically drive 6 monitors with this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I have those 3. I have a portrait monitor, and I'll shove something else in here. We'll drain my power bill.
I was gonna say 6 CRT monitors. That would be a bit. Your lights would dim, right?
Well, I don't think his breakers could handle that.
This was redone in 2001. I think we're good. We'll live stream it if the stream goes out. You know why?
So.
That's the breaker right there. So.
It was actually kind of common for people who were doing publishing work on those computers to have at least 2 video cards, because a lot of them would have the color, either the color or the black and white standard monitor on top of the computer, and then most of the time they would have the 23-inch 2-page display, which was just black and white. I think it was absolutely huge, but and that's what they would actually do the work on.
My father, when he worked as a graphic designer, I think it was like a Power Mac series. They eventually gave him an all-in-one G3 at one point, but he had a Power Mac series. He had a nice, huge, like 20-inch color monitor, and on the right, he had the little 13-inch monochrome monitor for his Photoshop palette, which made no sense to me because the other palettes are in color. This little dinky black monitor, but I guess whatever he had, it worked.
Yeah.
So.
All right, guys, so let's go ahead and move on to our next segment here. Steve is next with his archive adventures.
So this was pretty cool. It's not really an archiving thing, but it's what to talk about today. So a while back, it was about, I'm waiting for this to load on, I'll say the word, Wi-Fi. Oh, come on, Twitter. You're loading the images and the text isn't showing.
Did someone mention Wi-Fi?
Wi-Fi?
Yes. Take a shot.
What about Wi-Fi?
What about it?
On October 13th, I went over to a friend's house and we did some pumpkin carving. And, of course, me being a dork, I made my pumpkin into a Happy Mac. And something cool happened with that. So I carved up a little Happy Mac there. And I took a photo of it. And I put it on my Mac84 Twitter. And it got retweeted by a few people. I'm like, oh, that's cool. So, like, a few hours later, I'm sitting at home, and my phone just keeps going, brr, brr, like, making noise. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? And so I look, and Susan Kerr, who designed the original Macintosh icons, retweeted and liked my little Mac pumpkin carving. So I was just like bouncing around with a stupid happy grin on my face. So I just pasted the Twitter link into the chat there, and you could see she retweeted it with a little smile there, and you could see my crude attempt at putting a Happy Mac into a pumpkin and not making it fall into the pumpkin because you can't cut all
So
the
needless
way.
to say, Steve basically had a geekasm.
Oh yeah,
It wasn't pretty on our group chat.
There's a lot of capitals and exclamation points,
Yes.
but that was pretty cool. I mean, I don't know. I'm really curious to know like who retweeted it enough that it picked up on her radar. Like, it's always curious like how people, and I'm sure I could like click on her and see like the mutuals or whatever. But it was just an interesting little thing that happened, and I thought that was really cool. And of course, I'm still geeking out about it. And so I was going to bring the pumpkin in from outside, but it's
if you guys could see our text chats back and forth, Steve was acting like a 10-year-old little girl, pretty much.
Come on, it was pretty damn cool.
It is cool.
It is, but I'm just letting our audience know exactly how excited you were.
Oh, damn right. I was happier than a 10-year-old boy.
Hey, at least we didn't send you any moving images that show up on a 70-inch projector screen.
Yeah.
They were all work safe, thankfully. Or borderline. Anyway, that's what I had to share for my archive adventures today.
Yeah, Matthew goes nerdgasm.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, he had several.
That's pretty cool.
Yes,
though.
it is.
Yeah,
Cool.
I'm still very excited.
I'd probably be geeking out about something like that myself.
Yep.
Why
I
didn't
think
you,
anyone was.
follow through on this and invite her to Magyar?
Yeah, I don't think she'd respond to that.
Why?
Hey,
never know.
she might.
Yeah.
Come on.
Never heard.
You got the foot in
I'll
the foot in the door.
No, the foot in the door would have been last week or whenever, but yeah.
It's still say, hey, you retweeted my picture of my pumpkin. How would you like to be on?
Yeah, you want to hang out with a bunch of dorks?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey.
Well, she used to work for Apple, so she's probably used to hanging out with a bunch
That's
of
true.
Yeah. She may have had her fill already, and she's trying to get the hell away. But
Yeah. Let's see. All right, so we're coming close to the end of the show here. So let me go ahead and pull up the next slide here. Shameless self-promotions. I don't think we have a whole lot.
I have a what were they smoking thing. If you want me to add it in.
Well, okay, we could do that. Let me hold on.
I'm just gonna put it in the chat.
Nope. There we go. What were they smoking? It's up now.
Okay, let me see if the YouTube will like the link or not. Hopefully.
Is it too long?
Yeah, tonight for What Were They Smoking, we were going to draw on you guys and girls to find us a worthy candidate.
Hell yeah.
Dad stock Apple PC Macintosh.
Dude, what the hell was he smoking? Yeah.
Dead
Yeah,
stock.
What is dead stock?
Yeah, I mean, I think it means old stock. It's Japanese, so the thing from Japan. So it's obviously there's some translation going on here, but I want $3,500 for a Performa 600 series, which is not the best series of computers.
Oh, it's in the city of Japan.
Yeah. Good old eBay organizing.
It is brand new, though.
That might make it a little more valuable.
Yeah, I mean it's spooky. It's dead. You know. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's nice, but not $3,500 nice.
No.
Yeah,
No.
that's pretty crazy.
It's not down payment on a car nice.
But it includes free expedited shipping.
Ooh.
Well, I would hope you get free shipping after paying $4,000.
Right?
But that's outside. That's outside the U.S. though, not to the U.S.
Huh.
Oh, and I also had to follow up on the What Were They Smoking we did a few weeks ago, where we were joking about the DVD video card for the Power Mac, for the PowerBook. It was like $9,000, and I'm like, this guy's crazy. Well, as you saw, if you were watching that, I reached out to the guy on eBay, and I said, hey, I was kind of interested in this, but the price. So what he told me is he doesn't have enough, I guess, sales or whatever for eBay to consider him like a seller or whatnot. So he doesn't have like his own store. He just has listing. Yeah. And eBay doesn't have like a vacation mode for people who aren't of that tier or whatever. So the only way for him to keep his items up while he was away was to just reprice them at a crazy price that he knows nobody would buy it for. So that explains it. I wanted to give the guy a break.
But he's still smoking some crack.
If he expected to get that much for
it.
I mean, let's be honest here. If you're foolish enough to buy it for that much, then the buyer is smoking something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, then he's high on something, yeah, because he what do they call it? Like drunk buying, or when you buy something drunk.
I have a friend who actually buys drunk a lot. He accidentally once bought a electric city car.
Oh.
While he was drunk.
I don't know. Sometimes
it magically appeared delivered to his hangar like a week later, and he didn't even remember buying
Sometimes I wonder if Grudy
have that much money
drunk buys.
He's a little crazy.
But see, I also wonder if Grudy drunk buys sometimes.
I have a few times, but nothing more than a few $100 at that.
Ooh.
All right.
Yeah, just put in my address next time you order some. Little secrets.
So we got no submissions from the audience here.
So
then I guess yours won.
Yeah.
Steve.
So Dana says he's smoking Heisenberg's finest blue meth in honor of the new Netflix BB movie.
I think he's smoking a ground up super disc floppy.
Probably. So Wendy says Greg is on his phone. Are you ordering pizza? You?
Me?
Yes.
Oh. I was posting a picture of my dogs on Facebook.
Very, like anybody wants to see your damn dogs after the 15 millionth time.
Hey, they're coming in my next video
fired.
too.
Well, they were already in your previous video.
I know, they're in the next one too. I can't get them out of them.
All right, guys, so we're at the end of the show here. So I'm going to skip the shameless self-promotion. We're starting to run a little bit close to time here.
But let's mention what's going on for the next 2 weeks.
I was getting to that.
Okay.
Okay, so.
Shut up, Greg.
Up on the screen, I have our dates of our next shows and stuff that in my move, I will not be able to broadcast. But thanks to these guys here, they're going to pick up the slack. So next week, October 31st, is no show. Since that is Halloween night, I know Jay's got youngins. Well, what do you mean? What do you mean this, Steve?
I'm saying no show.
No show. Yeah. No show. But okay, we are looking at probably having a game of UT 2004, and we do have the Halloween map, which we all like. That's a cool map to play around with. So if Jay can actually make up some Halloween masks and stuff to put on, that would be awesome too.
I'll look into it, and I will post. Make sure you're on Discord. This weekend, I'll post a guide to where you need to go to download the game if you don't already have it, how to join and the game and all that stuff. So anyone is welcome. Mac, PC, Windows, Linux, whatever you're running.
Not Windows.
Oh, who cares? Just make it the biggest game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Basically,
everybody's
everybody's welcome. Intel, PowerPC. Even though we sponsor this through the PowerPC Gaming Lounge, we allow pretty much anybody that can run UT 2004. So if you run a Catalina, sorry, you can't play.
We should update the banner. It has Catalina, just a big
Yep.
X through it.
November 7th, Steve will be hosting MacYak with a live stream, and on the 14th. So Steve is taking up 2 dates there.
And he might dial me in, depending if I
We'll
can.
try.
Yeah.
We'll try.
Let's see if they can actually
Yes.
get this working with more than one person showing, right?
Yeah.
What I'm gonna try and do is I'm gonna have some fair amount of like topics and stuff to cover, but I'm also gonna be asking questions and stuff. So answering questions. So I'm gonna put my link to Twitter in the little chat here, and
Well,
I'll be
remember-
collecting questions.
Steve, you can always style it like you do it on your channel, like I did it last week. You know.
Oh no,
Yeah.
yeah. But what I want to do is have some questions actually there for me to answer.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm not like dead air being like, well, so yeah. So.
Like me.
Yes. Like,
I was trying to put it gently there. And you just kept pulling and pulling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No, but it's good. To be a lot
yeah,
of
so
fun.
those 2 dates are open for Steve. He's going to take care of the stream there. Then, coming November 21st, hopefully I will have everything back up and set. I move into my new place on the 15th, so that should allow me time because they'll have internet up and everything on the 15th. Electricity.
And
Go ahead.
when we get back, that's also my birthday.
Oh, happy
So we get
birthday.
to sing happy birthday then. So, but
Yeah.
But that actually is a date that's actually pretty important to MacYak because November, around that week, last year,
November 22nd.
22nd, was our first MacYak. So that is our first year anniversary.
we could just, cheap out and do a rerun of the first episode. As anything.
I don't know if we want to do that because that
Open air
first
meeting.
episode had a lot of technical difficulties, if you remember correctly.
Yeah.
The first 10 episodes had a lot of technical difficulties.
We were still learning how to do this thing. At least I was.
Yeah.
So we finally got to a point now where it's actually plug and play. I don't have to do a lot anymore as far as getting this stuff up and running. I know how to use OBS a lot better now. So this has actually helped me learn a lot about broadcasting, to be honest with you. And
That's part of the reason I initially offered to take over hosting, but
he's like,
I have maybe an hour between getting home from work and getting it all set up and learning how to do all this stuff on such short notice. It wasn't going to work. So
I literally taught myself OBS in about an hour that night before, and then just kind of winged it last week. So,
but hopefully,
well, OBS is not that hard if you're streaming your own stuff, but if you have to get all these Skype feeds in and all that stuff, it becomes a different story.
let me tell you, if you look at my sources on OBS right now, I have to scroll up and down to see all of them. And there's probably about, I would say, 30-something sources I have in here. Each one of the videos you see on here is a separate source. The background is a separate source. The names are a separate source. The overlays you see on here, the banners that Jay provides me, are a separate source. Every picture I had for Mike's Mac Shack was a separate source. So everything on here, and I have to switch back and forth between them. So like Jay said, in an hour trying to learn how to do all that would be a pain. Now, what Grudy did that one day was basically just start up and go with no overlays or nothing. That's easy. Okay, that's actually easy. I have 5 different scenes because the startup scene, when you see the loading bar, that's an actual scene. The end screen is a scene. I have a static screen, and then I actually have one for Mac Attack, but I don't know why I have that one there. So, but for MacYak, I have 4 different scenes that I have to switch back and forth between. So there is a lot of behind the scenes stuff here that you guys don't realize that it takes a lot of work to do. And all these guys here help out tremendously Some more than others, but we won't mention names. No, just kidding. No, everybody
Wow.
does provide a little bit of help to this, and I appreciate it because without you guys, it would take me forever to get this stuff set up and running. So
Because we really tell you when something doesn't work.
yes, you do.
Yeah. We will let you know, brother.
Well, I know the guys on this chat will, especially Brock. Brock's the first one sitting there saying, "Oh, you got echoes or something like that."
Yeah, well,
Yeah. Yeah.
don't forget,
What?
Dana,
What?
he's,
What?
he's
What?
kind of
What?
an asshole too. We will point it out fairly quickly.
Yes.
Yeah.
But guys, especially the viewers out there, we started using Skype because it actually is a lot better than. I mean, I think we ran FaceTime into the ground, and it's just not conducive to 6 people trying to chat on here. Seeing
Yeah, and I hated the bounce.
exactly the bouncing around was a pain in the butt. I think this is so much better, to be honest with you, and a lot clearer than.
I would prefer to use FaceTime, Mac Yak, Apple product, and all that stuff. But you gotta do what's best.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think us going to this format. Now, Jay was supposed to have Wendy do me some backgrounds that never got around to it yet.
I mentioned it.
Well, she's watching right now, so I'm going to sit there and put her on the spot since she's watching. So, Jay volunteered you, Wendy, to do some backgrounds. So, we've been using these same backgrounds that I made.
That door's gonna slam open.
He's looking. As we hear the door being beat on.
Right? You come climbing through the window.
Yeah. But anyways, guys, this has been a real fun show to do, and I appreciate you guys helping out with that. But I'm going to throw up the next screen here, and there it is. There it is. I heard it.
Real quick, if we did 2 hours per show, we did 46 shows, so we're into the 90-some hours of
Video.
live streaming. How many hours have we done off the air?
I won't even talk about that because there's some days we're about.
We're probably getting close to thousands of hours.
Yes.
I think so.
When I first joined, guys, I'll be brutally honest with you. When I first joined, I'm like, these guys are talking to each other like nonstop, and like
Yeah.
my phone would be buzzing, FaceTime call, FaceTime call, FaceTime call, and I'm like, I feel obligated to answer this. So like, I just answer and just like put the phone down, and I'd come and go during the day. I mean, we've all been getting a little busy, so we haven't been.
Well, yeah, we haven't been doing
Much.
FaceTime, but we do group chat a lot.
Yeah, but that was used to be like, I swear, it was like every hour. It was like, up, Greg's calling, up, Jay's calling.
My phone used to buzz constantly. It drove Jessica so crazy that I finally had to mute it. She just couldn't stand it any longer.
DND. Do not disturb.
Exactly. The thing is, I always forget to check. That's why I left it on vibrate.
Grudy. What are we gonna do with you, man? So, anyways, but this, like I said, until I get to my new place and we have our anniversary show, I just wanted to say, guys, thank you for being here. It's been fun for the year, and hopefully we could get another 5 or 6 years down on our belt.
Ooh,
Yeah,
not
That's
GT.
that.
Huh?
Yeah, GT. Good look on your move.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're driving 2 vehicles across country with 2 dogs. So, yeah. In the back of my Jeep's going to have my Mac Pro, of course. It's coming with me in my Jeep, so.
Yeah, priorities.
lock that car at the rest stops.
Well, we're staying at like hotels and stuff like that, so
Again, make sure you lock your car.
I have an alarm on it too, so
Okay, there you go.
yes.
He's gonna be sleeping with that Macro Nexus.
Your wife's gonna be like, just get the cylinder model. It's easier to fold."
Be like, no,
Big box.
the trash can sucks.
By the way, Wendy responded.
Oh yeah, she goes, I would be more than happy to make a background. Please email me. I should have to email. I got her on the chat. I got Jay right there. Jay, Jay, what do you?
Hey, Jay, can you email her?
These specs. Been telling Jay, but I have not. Oh, she's throwing you under the bus.
Oh.
I got these fresh tires.
She just threw you under the bus. Okay, Wendy, I will get you the specs. That way we have a couple of weeks actually, and we might be able to preview a new background.
Nice.
And when we come back, Greg will have fixed his chair and his desk.
You really believe that, Jay?
And I'll have a full head of hair.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will have shaved by then.
Well, maybe just adjust your Memoji to actually look like you.
It looks exactly like
No.
Dude, it looks nothing like you. You got a mustache this big on that thing.
Should I pull up your Memoji?
Oh, dude, they only have one option for beard.
Should I pull up your Memoji and show everybody?
Yes. Yes.
Go ahead.
I gotta find it first. What the heck? Why is it not going back any further? Alright. iMessage is being a pain.
Blame the Wi-Fi.
No, I don't have this on Wi-Fi. This is actually on Ethernet.
Wait a minute. See here.
Send me a Memoji so I can do a screenshot and.
You sound so hip. Send me an emoji.
Yeah, that mustache is just not adding up, man.
At least it's not a handlebar.
What's that? Oh yeah. Hold on, we're pulling it up. So here is Greg's Memoji. So in case you guys haven't seen it.
All right, Greg, come closer to the camera so we can do a comparison.
Hold on. Let me change up the. I made it big, and he was covering him up. So, hold on. 1 second. There we go. Now try that. Now do the same thing.
I still can't see the emoji. It hasn't popped up in the stream yet.
Just come closer. Come on. Let's see that mustache.
There it goes.
Yeah. It looks just
Now
like
do the.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that looks just like him. I think Jay's right. Let's see.
Yeah, I haven't seen
Yeah. So he wants a. So Matthew says he wants a Slofi.
Said it looks like me.
Well,
Yeah,
it
with the
does
hat
kind
on.
of look like Steve.
Yeah,
I'll agree
mine's,
to that.
mine's generic.
I don't think-
For the longest time, your emoji looked exactly like Steve. Oh, Daniel says it still does.
All right, guys.
You can't move.
So we're at the end of the show here. So if you want to come and join us after the show, some of us will be on there to join our Discord. The Discord link is on the screen right now. Make sure you like and subscribe, both YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. We do have a Twitter account now that Steve manages.
Yeah, hold on. I'm joking.
Sometimes, man.
And the Twitter handle is @MacYakPodcast. So we'll have to put that on the new Discord also there. So Jay might want to redo that one.
Nope. I don't manage the server. Don't talk to me.
You don't manage Discord either.
Nope.
Check out the description info and links. I will have the topics updated probably tomorrow. But all of our links are in there for all of our different channels. So make sure you check them out. Spread the word. Tell your friends. I think, last I checked, we're at 353 subs. So let's get those subs up. We got to get...
We're moving
Yep.
on up.
We get over 1,000, we can monetize, and we can actually have our meetup then, you know?
Yeah, we need 500 subs by November 21st. So let's make it.
Yeah, it's on you guys. You guys need to start spreading this around.
Just
Can I-
keep
Can I
sharing
move
us,
mine
guys.
to yours?
That's right.
It's all you got to do. Share us, tell your friends about us, etc., etc.
Yeah, bribe, blackmail, it all
Exactly.
works. People
It
watch.
all works.
I might have some stuff to blackmail next week. We'll see.
Ooh. So you guys better check out Steve's live stream on MacYak here. So
Yep.
Yeah, I'll
And
be
these
on this
streams,
channel,
By the
not
way,
mine.
will be on this
yes,
channel.
it will be on this channel.
Yeah.
It will be basically that's going to be MacYak number 47
Yeah.
and 48. So you'll be doing 47 and 48. 49 will be our anniversary.
Oh, let's just count the UT one as one.
By
and
the
then
way,
our
yeah.
anniversary will be the
Well,
50th.
Yeah, we could do that. We could stream UT.
I'll be streaming.
I'm not going to stream it.
Yeah.
All right, we might.
Yeah. And then we can have MacYak 50 for our anniversary.
Okay, we'll do that then.
It'd be perfect.
Now,
It'll just be like the iPhone 9. We just
a disclaimer: when we play UT, we do get pretty. How should I say?
Yeah, it's not.
It's
It's
not-
not safe for young audience.
Exactly.
I'm fine, but these guys.
Oh, don't even.
Oh,
Your character name
I
is
must
pretty
say,
bad.
sir, I don't know what you guys are talking about.
What's your character name, Jay? No, what's your character name?
Son of a redacted.
Yeah, son of a redacted.
Redacted.
Uh,
All right, I might try to stream. I'll do my best.
hey, get that Mac Mini
Yeah.
that you do on.
Jay got his nickname because I used to scream "You redacted" all the time.
If you can play, then watch the stream if there's going to be a stream. But it would be better if you can come play. With
Yep.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's make it a Halloween party.
Let's blow
Make it
up my
a
server.
huge stream. I'd like that. It'd be fun to do
Yep.
that.
I need this Mac Mini to explode. I need at least 32 people on that server.
Whitney goes, Jay likes bouncing around. Okay, what are we getting too personal here, or
Yeah, we should end the stream now. This is going to get
in slow feed? She said in slow feed.
Past the 2-hour mark, we just get loopy. So
it gets from bad to worse
Yeah.
quickly.
All right, guys. So we'll catch you guys in a couple of weeks, and
in 2 weeks.
at least Steve in 2 weeks.
Well, a week if we stream the
Yes.
UT. Yeah.
Possibly me in 2 weeks.
So, guys, take care,
Yeah, we'll try
and
and dial you in.
you guys have a good evening.
Thanks for hanging out.
See you
See ya.
guys.
See you.